with Ashley Howard Teaches, and I'm so excited to bring to you CC Cycle 3, Week 12, 5th edition. If you're like me, I love to make this last week so fun, hands-on, exciting. I want them wanting to come back for the rest of the year, and so excited about it. All right, so if you haven't subscribed yet, would you hit that subscribe and that like button? That helps me to keep bringing you new content. I'm so excited. We're going to be doing lots of weeks of CC ahead, but over the Christmas break, I'm going to talk about fun ways to homeschool during Christmas time and fun curriculum ideas as well. So you won't want to miss that. So don't forget to hit that bell notification. All right, and would you let me know in the comments below, what is your favorite Christmas tradition? I love to hear new traditions. I don't know about you, but as a mom, I just enjoy those so much, so I love hearing about new ones. All right, so let's get started with math. So for math, we're doing teaspoons and tablespoons. And for this one, I like to have a big bag of those plastic spoons. I think it's like $1 for a huge bag. But what I like to do is we'll start by talking about it. We'll talk about how 3 teaspoons equals 1 tablespoon. I'll have those out kind of on the table to show them. And then what I like to do is I have 3 teaspoons per child, and I'm gonna scatter them around the room somewhere. And so what I'll do is afterwards I'll say, okay, as a class, we're gonna try to find the teaspoons. You have to find 3 teaspoons and 1 tablespoon. So I'll have those hidden all around the class. And so they'll go find those, and I'll say, okay, you have to find all of them in 1 minute. And so they'll all look for them for 1 minute. Once you find them, sit down in a circle. So they come running in, sitting down. And so it's kind of a fun way. And then you say, oh, let's do it in 30 seconds. But each time you're saying 3 teaspoons equals 1 tablespoon. So I'm showing it to them. They have the manipulatives. They're having fun. And then after that, I'm going to bring out my 2 tablespoons. And I'm going to show them 2 tablespoons. And then I'll have my clear liquid. It's 1 fluid ounce. So I'll show them that as well. So it'll sound something like this. 3 teaspoons equals 1 tablespoon. 2 tablespoons equals 1 fluid ounce. And so we'll go through and we'll do it like that. And then what we can do after we put our teaspoons in the middle, our 3 teaspoons and 1 tablespoon, or 2 tablespoons and 1 fluid ounce in the middle, I'm gonna have them each go around in our circle, and they're gonna tell me what they wanna do. They might wanna do clap, snap. So we'll say 3 teaspoons equals 1 tablespoon, and we'll go through and do each part of the math sentence, and all the class members are clapping and snapping. And then the next person might pick foot stomps and clapping. So we'll go through and do it that way. So that is our math for this week. All right, so let's move on to English. So for English this week, we're doing to sit. So what I like to do is have them find a wall across the classroom, and we're gonna do wall sits as we say them. But before we start, we're gonna say them slowly together. So I'm gonna point to the board with my big pointer, and I'm gonna have them let's all say them together one time together, and then we'll do our fun activity. So we say our to sit, and we go through and kind of sing it in a sing-songy tone. And then we'll have our wall sits. So we'll say to sit, and they'll sit as they're saying theirs, and they'll go down farther and farther down. And so then I'll be like, okay, we're gonna speed it up this round, and we're still doing wall sits, and so we're going faster as we squat down. And we keep going till we're almost, so we go faster and faster, and then the last time, we're gonna plop ourselves on the ground. So it's kind of fun that way. That's how we do our to sit. And so let's move on to Latin. So for Latin this week, we are doing our beginning of John 1:1. Now, you don't have to know the English part for Memory Master, but it is really convenient. Now, I will leave the link down below for the song that you can sing this to, which is so well made. I believe it's by King's Things, but I will leave it linked down below. They have an English version and a Latin version, so your kids at home can practice that as well. And it's just really fun. It's a very good song. It helps them. So I like to bring my iPad and just play that first part of the song as we go through new grammar, and then for review you can play it all the way through. So that's a really good one, a really great resource to help learn, and my kids have sang this all the way through. So we'll start singing that song. Now it's only a couple words, so it's really easy, but it's kind of a hard sentence to learn if you've never heard it before. So it's good to practice several times. So what I like to do is do it in different voices, because that way you're just focusing mostly on the words, but you're doing different voices. So we'll pull out our voice sticks, and we'll do it in proper voice, and a cowboy voice, and a dragon voice. There's so many different ones, and so we'll do it that way. So that is our Latin for this week. Let's move on to history. All right, so for history this week, we're talking about General Robert E. Lee. So we're gonna start with 1865. So we're gonna put our 5 fingers up like this. And then for General Robert, and then we're gonna go E. Lee. So we're gonna put our E and then our L, General Robert E. Lee. And then for surrendered, we're gonna put our hands up like this, like we're surrendering to someone. And then for general, we're gonna put our hand up like this again. And then for Ulysses, we're gonna put our arms up like this in a big U shape. And then for Appomattox, we're gonna make an A like this. And then for Virginia, we're gonna make a V like this. So we go Appomattox, cross, and Virginia. So those are our hand motions for history. Now here's some fun things that we can do with that. All right, so for history this week, for the younger kids, what I like to do is I like to print out this. Now I will leave the link down below, and I like to laminate them. I have a great laminator link down below as well in my classroom supplies if you're looking for one, especially if you're looking for one to put on your Christmas list. It's so good and not very expensive at all. All right, so what I would do is laminate these, and then you're gonna write out your parts of your sentence on here. So what you'll have them do is you'll hide these around. It'll have your history sentence, a couple things written on each feather. Now there's more feathers in this. I just haven't printed them all out yet. So what you'll do is you'll hide them around the room, and they all sit there in a circle, and one at a time you call out a student's name. Sammy, go find a feather. And they go and look for a feather, and they get to put it on the turkey. And then after all the feathers are found, you're gonna put them together and say your history sentence. Now for the older kids, this is way easier. I like to just hide them around. They get to go find them all together, and then they're gonna put it together as a class. Now you can also, alternately, you could give each child one of these turkeys and cut them out. That's a lot more work, but you might wanna do that if you have a smaller class, and they all try to put them on in a time, like, and race each other. So that's kind of fun too. That's kind of a fun way to do it, or do teams, however you like to do it, but it's just kind of fun because then they come home with a turkey and it has their history sentence written on it. Now I like to hand out extras just in case they wanna take them home for Thanksgiving, and just for them to have, just for fun. So you can also just print one out and give it to them to take home with. So that's fun too. So that's how we are going to do history this week. I hope you enjoyed that. You can do that multiple times, especially with those little sticky tape dots that you can use, because you can rip those right off when you laminate them. So be sure and laminate them, makes it so much easier. All right, so that is our history for this week. All right, let's move on to science. Now today for science, we're talking about purposes of the blood. So we're gonna start with transportation. I just like to pretend like we're driving a race car like this. And then for protection, we're gonna put our hands over our heads like this and our face and protect ourselves. And then for communication, we're gonna shout, like we're gonna say communication like this and shout it out. And then for regulation, we're gonna make an R and just circle our hand around like this. All right, so those are hand motions. I also like to do it to the song of bingo. All right, so what I like to do is I say, what are the 4 purposes of blood? And I have them mimic me. So if I say it loud, they say it loud. If I say it quiet, they say answer quiet. So I'll say, what are the 4 purposes of blood? And transportation, protection, communication, regulation, like that. So it's kind of a fun way to do it. They're just kind of bouncing off you, so every time you say it, and whatever you do, it's kind of like follow the leader. So if I have airplanes while I'm saying it, they're doing airplanes while they say it. Just depends on the age. You might be running in place if they're a little bit older. You might be a dinosaur if they're younger. So it's easy to do it any age that you have. All right, so that is our science for this week. Let's move on to geography. All right, so for geography this week, we're talking about Southern Appalachian Mountains. All right, so what I like to do is get those like little leaf acorn erasers, and they get to put them on each one. Now, I know you can buy this on Amazon. I think they're like $12 for a giant pack. I will leave a link down below, the ones that I saw and liked, so that you can have those. And so you just put those on there. I like to give them as many as there are locations, and then they get to move those around. And so I like to, okay, let's put them on there quick, and we'll say them together and put them on, and kind of take them off and say them, put them back on and say them, do them in slow motion. So there's so many fun ways that you can do that and put them on there. All right, so that's our geography for this week. Let's move on to review. All right, so for our review game for this week, what I like to have is a Now these strong ones are so helpful. And so what you do is you're gonna tape them with tape on the side of your tables. So you're gonna keep your tables that you have and you're gonna just tape them over the side. You might get a parent to help you, but I would have them pre-made because you're not gonna be able to make them then. And what I would do is put little pieces of paper in there that say plus 10 points Latin, plus 5 points. And I like to do a lot of plus, maybe 1 or 2, minus 5 or something like that. You can make a class goal for how many you're gonna get, or you can just do it individual points or boy versus girl. You can do it any way you want, but I also like to put some little prizes in there, like maybe a chocolate candy, or maybe a pencil, or just like fun little figures, something in each cup. So there's different things, there's points, there's questions, Latin week 2. It kind of helps you to know what you've reviewed, what you haven't reviewed. And if you finish with all those cups, you can have backup cups as well. And what you'll do is you'll have a ping pong ball. And what you'll do is you'll toss that ping pong ball and you'll let it go and see which cup that it falls into. So they're gonna stand at the edge of the table, they're gonna either roll or bounce and try to make it into a cup. And so then you ask them that question. Now, if they don't make it in the cup, what I like to do is I'll ask them a question, but I'll check it off as I go so that I know which questions I have asked and which questions I haven't asked. So that's a really good way to do it. I can just write down week 2, geography, check mark. Just something like that to keep a record and know that I'm getting all the information reviewed. All right, so that is our fun activity this week. I hope you have a wonderful fall break. I would love to hear from you, your favorite Christmas traditions. We actually just did this for Thanksgiving where you put cups. My mom did this and she taped cups all around the ping pong table so all the kids and adults got to play. And she put gift cards in there like Starbucks and Academy and different things like that. And so it's a fun family game as well for Christmas time if you want something fun like that. All right, so I hope you have a wonderful break. Let me know in the comments below what would you love to see over the break for homeschooling ideas. I will be dropping in Christmas curriculum ideas, Christmas ideas for your family in general and different things like that. So stay tuned. I can't wait to hear from you. Leave me a comment below. Let me know how CC is going and what you hope to accomplish in January when we return. All right, see you next time. Goodbye.